Let's bring in Stephen Roach, former Asia chairman for Morgan Stanley and a senior fellow at Yale University's Jackson Institute of Global Affairs. And you probably read the piece today, Stephen, and I'm wondering whether you think it's overdone in the Journal. They just say, for decades, China powered its economy by investing in factories, skyscrapers, and roads. It sparked an extraordinary period of growth. Now that model is broken. And many economists are saying that what used to be 6 to 8% is now going to be 2 to 3%. And that China could look like Japan in the 90s, when we all thought Japan was going to be, a global power forever. And they went into, the real estate market busted, and, we had disinflation or deflation for almost 25 years.
Well, thanks, Joe, for having me back. Sorry for not wearing a white shirt like the rest of you, but I think we go very far in trying to squeeze China into a Japan box or into a autocracy box. China's very much a blended economy. The state still accounts for 30 to 40% of the GDP. It's gone back and forth, as you said, between emphasizing state control and market-based dynamism. It doesn't quite know who it is right now. It does pose the risk of some Japanese-like concerns, especially in the property sector and the interplay, as Eunice correctly pointed out, with this enormous push of debt-intensive growth. And the government's policy actions don't really seem to be all that forceful or really have a grip on who China is and what it's going to take to resurrect that type of growth dynamism that all of us have become accustomed to for so long.
I mean, the Journal goes as far as to say that it's possible China never passes the U.S., that they're permanently in second place. The other thing which was interesting, since Deng Xiaoping, 25-fold increase in per capita GDP, but only now to $12,000, which doesn't even get them to a high-income country. Japan's $42,000, and United States $76,000 per person. So maybe 800 million people have come out of poverty, but they got a long way to go. Is that going to stop that progress?
Well, you've got your finger on, I think, the missing link of the story. The Journal's article this morning focuses on the supply side of the Chinese economy, the infrastructure, the capacity, the roads, the buildings, and, of course, the housing. But the missing piece is the demand side. The consumer in China still accounts for less than 40% of the GDP, and that ratio has been stuck at a low level. And the government now tells us they're focusing on stimulating consumer demand. But quite honestly, they've been saying that for close to 15 years now. They recently put out a new 21-point plan to stimulate consumption, but it doesn't really touch on the big issue, in my opinion, which is excess fear-driven precautionary saving, as an aging society just doesn't have the safety net that it needs to feel secure about future spending prospects. And until the consumer piece comes in, that per capita comparison that you allude to is not going to converge on higher income norms.
Hey, Stephen, it's Scott. It's nice to see you. If there ends up being a Japan-like malaise, as you've discussed with Joe, and you think is a somewhat of a possibility, what then does that mean for the global economy and most importantly here in the United States?
Well, Scott, China, since the global financial crisis, has accounted for about 35% of the cumulative increase in world GDP. So if you've got the major engine of global growth shifting to a decidedly lower pace, then that means, barring a new China or a new source of global dynamism, that the world itself is going to be growing considerably slower, and that's obviously problematic for us and other nations who have been so heavily dependent on vigorous global growth to drive their economies.
But maybe not that big for the U.S. because there are other countries that are bigger. Stephen, you and I have known each other longer than either of us probably care to admit. And I guess back
we both
in the
had hair
day,
when we met.
back in the day, there was an idea. China didn't have to dismantle the state companies because it was going to let the private sector grow up around it. And over time, those state companies would become less and less and less. Xi reversed that, right? And he decided he was going to support those state companies, not let them go down. And he did worse than that. He ended up suppressing the private sector and really taking the shine off of that. Do you think that what's happening now with growth, he might rethink his policies here and say, you know what, that was the right way to go?
Yeah, it's a fair point, Steve. I think that Xi Jinping is, a complex man, and his primary focus is on the survival of the party, the control of the party, and the dominant role the party plays in shaping all aspects of a Chinese society and its system. So for him to do a 180 on his shift back to supporting state-owned enterprises would really mean to, it would be the same thing as saying that my core premise, my philosophy in driving the nation is wrong. I don't think he is prepared to do that right now. I think, that's been a very significant shift and a disappointing one in his tenure as leader.